So Samsung's 2021 flagship 4K QLED will be a mini LED TV. Are you surprised? Let's talk about this. Hello everyone, my name is Vincent Teo, and earlier in the week I was attending an OLED World Summit, which is put on by this testing and consulting company called Smithers, and in it there was an excellent presentation by Mr. Bob O'Brien, who is the president and co-founder of Display Supply Chain Consultants, also known as DSCC. Now his company specializes in analyzing the supply chain for the display industry, such as LCD panels, OLED panels, and his presentation was talking about OLED and how it actually fared and is expected to fare in the general display industry market specific to TVs. So there are many excellent slides in his presentation, but I wanted to hone in on this particular one. Now, Mr. Bob O'Brien has kindly given me permission to reproduce his slides, so thanks, Bob. So let's hone in on this slide. And what I wanted to hone in is that just like a video I put out a few weeks ago, or maybe last week, I have lost count of how many videos I put out. I've been pumping out videos almost every single day. It's tiring, but I hope you guys enjoyed my output. But it certainly ties in with what I've been saying about the difference between Samsung Display and Samsung Visual Display business, in that Samsung Display is investing and developing QD OLED, but Samsung Visual Display is resisting it. And it turned out that they are going to use mini LED technology in their 2021 lineup. Now, before you start getting excited, mini LED technology is entirely different from micro LED. Micro LED is self-emissive, but mini LED is just basically a conventional LED LCD television that uses mini LED backlighting. So think of it like full array local dimming on steroids. So with conventional LED LCD televisions, the LEDs, the number of LED modules that can be fitted on a conventional LCD panel is probably maybe hundreds or whatever. But because mini LEDs, they are so small, they are so miniaturized, more of these very small diodes can be fitted onto the same backlight system. So, for example, if you think about the mini LED TVs that were released by TCL, I think we are talking probably tens of thousands of mini LEDs. And because they are smaller, they can be packed together to generate a higher brightness and also to achieve greater contrast if you actually manage to implement more local dimming zones, taking advantage of the more LED modules that can be built together because of the miniaturized size of these mini LEDs. And another advantage that very few people seem to clue onto with mini LED technology is that because you can pack these small mini LEDs together in a tighter fashion, you can actually improve the uniformity. And certainly, I've reviewed two types of mini LED products on this channel, the TCL 8 series and also the equivalent European version of X10, and also the recent Asus PA32UCX mini LED monitor. I've reviewed both, and I felt that the uniformity is certainly one level above most LED LCDs I've seen. When I tested and reviewed the TCL 8 series and also the X10, I commented that the uniformity is the best that I've seen from a TCL TV so far. And when I tested the Asus PA32UCX, I saw a level of uniformity that is almost approaching, say, reference grade dual layer LCD monitors costing tens of thousands of pounds. So uniformity, backlight uniformity, is certainly another aspect that mini LED can bring some improvement to conventional LED LCD technology. Now, let's talk about why Samsung is going down this route rather than QD OLED. I think in my previous video explaining QD OLED, Samsung Visual Display Division, or Samsung VD business, they are really concerned about adopting OLED because they've been running these anti-OLED campaign in terms of highlighting the burn-in propensity on OLED technology. So they are adopting a wait-and-see approach. But the key is that because Samsung Display themselves, they have actually abandoned LCD. They are stopping their own LCD production by the end of this year. So where is Samsung Visual Display Division, who is responsible for the TV business, by the way, where are they going to get the panel from? They have to approach the Chinese and the Taiwanese panel makers, and they are really big on mini LED, which is why I think, Samsung have no choice but to implement mini LED technology on their QLED lineup next year. Now, again, a few days ago, another company called TrendForce, this is another consulting company for the display industry, maybe not only for the display industry, but I think this consultancy, this market research company is just killing it. I should really try and get into it. But TrendForce has come out with another report saying that Samsung Electronics is going to be targeting at least 2 million units of shipment of mini LED TVs next year, 2021. And to give you some context, 2 million units is not a small number. It is not big, but it is not small either. TrendForce even went a step further. Because they are in the market research industry, they have very good relationship and very good contacts within the panel supply, within the microchip supply industry. So they even went one step further and said that the mini LED panels that Samsung will be using will be 4K in resolution, and it also will be 55-inch, 65-inch, 75-inch, and 85-inch in screen sizes. So these are the normal screen sizes that we have come to know from Samsung QLED televisions. So it is just continuing that trend. But they will continue to use quantum dot technology, and the quantum dot technology that will be used is the quantum dot enhancement film, the one that has been in use over the past few years, not the more advanced versions such as color converter or even quantum dot on glass. I don't think they are using that. They're using just QDEF to achieve the really wide color gamut that quantum dot is supposed to deliver. But the thing with 2 million shipments of mini LED TVs, to me it says that this mini LED technology will be reserved for only the higher end TV. The thing is, you don't actually procure mini LED backlight units to put it on entry-level TVs. Let's say when TCL was the first to come out with a mini LED TV, they put it in their top-end 8 series. Until then, they didn't even have like a 7 series. They put it on their top-end 8 series. And only this year, it trickled down to the 6 series. So when Samsung adopt the mini LED technology next year, I expect it to go into their top-end Q90, Q80, Q70, or maybe even Q60 series, to really give that sort of boost in terms of the brightness and also the uniformity and potentially the local dimming zones with this miniaturized LED diodes. And I think, the flagship 4K QLED will be a mini LED TV, and the question remains whether it will be a Dolby Vision television, because Samsung has so far been resisting Dolby Vision, and I'm not sure they're going to change their stance next year, and whether that will actually affect your purchase decision. I think you know the answer yourself. And I think Samsung being Samsung, I don't expect these mini LED TVs to be cheap. They are not known to be a bargain basement brand, so to speak. They have different tiers of television. If you want a bargain basement Samsung TV, you'll have to buy a basic one without quantum dot, without local dimming, without 120 Hz panel, and certainly without mini LED technology. The mini LED technology will go into the flagship and maybe the sub-flagship models among Samsung's 2021 QLED lineup. And I think Samsung is not going to be the only one using mini LED technology next year. I know TCL is going to continue with their mini LED roadmap, and I think it may be a couple of other manufacturers as well. Let's say Sony, because if Sony was buying some backlight unit from Samsung Display, but Samsung Display has stopped LCD production, then potentially Sony would be approaching other panel makers as well from China and Taiwan. And they may offer up mini LED technology and Sony might actually adopt it. And LG has also shown a mini LED TV at CES behind closed doors earlier in the year. So it is likely that next year they might offer something along the lines of a mini LED technology to supplement as a lower cost alternative to their OLED, which is going to be their flagship without a shadow of a doubt. But let me know what you think of this news, whether my prediction is going to be correct. And certainly I'm basing it on market research firms' data. And these market research firms, they usually have fairly good relationship with panel makers, with the chip suppliers. And if they get their predictions wrong, then no one would buy their consultancy service, no one would buy their market research. So it is not common to find them being wrong totally. So if you would like to watch more of my videos talking about next-gen display technologies such as mini LED, micro LED, QD OLED, click here for an updated playlist which I've compiled, and I'll see you in the next video.